Billionaires don't burn out. Don't know if it's true or not, but billionaires don't burn out. And this is part 2 of a series. The first one, we talked about mindfulness. We talked about being present, being able to accept current reality, no matter how ugly it is, without exaggeration or diminishing. When a customer is mad, you don't say, they're going to kill me. Or the customer is mad. Oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It's here in reality. It's not an exaggeration or a diminishing. And then after we face the external reality, face our internal reality, how am I really feeling about this? And then go into a non-resistant state of acceptance. And from that, it is what it is. And now we can strategize moving forward. When you can handle the pressure, you can handle the next level. And this is how you make it to billionaire. That was part 1. And by the way, you should watch the whole thing. I took more than 10 seconds originally. Now, next. Are leaders most successful when they exercise masculine energy or feminine energy? Or both, or neither, or some. We're going to talk about it. And it has nothing to do with your sexuality. Nothing to do with your sexuality. Your sexuality is your sexuality. Masculine and feminine energy are distinct and urgent that you understand this. And every super successful person in sports, in creation, in arts, in business, in entrepreneurship, everyone who is super successful gets this. And it's time for you and I to master masculine and feminine energy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read a list. And you tell me if you think it's masculine energy or feminine energy. I'm just going to list. I'm going to be listing a set of traits that are either masculine energy or feminine. You ready? Here we go. Compassion, sensitivity, intuition. Do you have a clue? Collaboration, emotional intelligence, creativity, adaptability, nurturing. Relationship building, empathy, patience, expressiveness, flexibility, healing, and open-mindedness. I think you got it. That would be called feminine energy. And by the way, masculine energy, feminine energy, it's just the yin and yang of things, right? Which yin and yang is just a comparative tool. It's not about right and wrong, good or bad, male or female. It's just comparative. These are what we're going to call the masculine traits. And for the purpose of comparison and contrast, we're going to call these the feminine traits. So don't get your knickers in a knot. Does anyone use that phrase anymore? When I was a kid, people used to say, don't get your knickers in a knot. I don't know if anyone, I don't even know what it means. Anyways, but I think your knickers are your underwear. I shouldn't have went there, huh? Here we go. So it's merely a tool of comparison, up and down, black and white, in or out, left or right, masculine energy, feminine energy. It's not about your sexuality. It's not about being male or female, but it is just a simplified method of saying this is that, this kind of energy and that kind of energy, and it's been called masculine, feminine. So the list I just gave you is feminine energy. You can disagree, but well, I didn't write it, so disagree with whoever wrote it. So I'm going to give you that list again, and then I'm going to give you the masculine energy set. And it's not a comprehensive set, but it's pretty sweet. So here again is the feminine energy set. You might want to write these down. I don't know if you can do it fast enough. I'd love to do this in a whole workshop, but here we go. Compassion, sensitivity, intuition, collaboration, emotional intelligence, creativity, adaptability, nurturing, relationship building, empathy, patience, expressiveness, flexibility, healing, and open-mindedness. These are termed feminine energy traits. Now, masculine energy traits: strength, courage, ambition, analytical thinking, focus on tasks and goals, problem solving, leadership, assertiveness, independence, rationality, determination, decisiveness, competitiveness, resilience, and logical reasoning. Whew. So those are called the masculine traits, and then earlier I'd said the feminine traits. So now, here's a good question. Which one are you? How much so? How many of those do you have on this side? How many of those on that side? Is that right? Is it good? Should you not? I want you to know that you were born with a complete set. You were born with a complete lexicon of masculine and feminine energy, not fully developed in your experience in this time-space continuum, but the seeds of them, they're in your DNA. 98% of your genetic code is unrealized, unexercised, but all masculine and feminine energy traits exist within you in full capability, whether they've been exercised, practiced, or experienced or not, but they're in there. Now, when it comes to this, when it comes to the spirituality of our human experience, we're all trans. God is trans. What does trans mean? It means transcending the binary limits of masculine or feminine. We're not limited to masculine or feminine in the spiritual sense. If you think about the idea of God, now you might not be a theist, but if you think of the idea of God in multiple faiths, you'll notice that although in many, especially like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, three of the ones that come to mind, the Abrahamic religions, the deity referred to in those is masculine, right? So God the Father, right? God the Father in Christianity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So it's masculine trait. However, in others, it's often in our modern day, a lot of masculine labels. That said, if you ask about the God of the Abrahamic religions, right, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and you ask which of these traits are prevalent, you'd say kind of all of them, right? I mean, if you think about, let's just go with the Christian Bible one, of which I'm most familiar because that's my playground. Compassion, sensitivity, intuition, collaboration, emotional intelligence, creativity, adaptability, nurturing, relationship building, empathy, patience, expressiveness, flexibility, healing, and open-mindedness. The traits of God the Father in the Bible are not exclusively by any means, but very pronounced in feminine energy, right? Very pronounced feminine energy. So God, if you're comfortable with the label God or the energy of the universe or, the universe itself, however you look at it, is not limited to masculine or feminine energy if you believe in such a personhood or expressiveness of this divine energy. It is completely masculine and completely feminine, or he or she, they, it. Now, for me, it's he, and we're all good. So what I mean by that is, the divine transcends the binary limits of masculine or feminine, but being complete. And in our physical form, we are male and female. However, it is said, for those of you who are into the Christian tradition, or Abraham, all the Abrahamics, in heaven, there's neither male nor female. In heaven, we're all complete. No longer limited by masculine and feminine limits, but we are complete in and of ourselves. So there is no male and female in heaven, for those of you who are down with that conversation. So we are not limited so we're non-binary trans. Sorry, I know those have triggers today. But in the spiritual sense, we are not limited to masculine and feminine. Although your sexuality may be masculine or feminine, it is distinct from your spiritual state, emotional state. Good. So now let's get back to it. Masculine and feminine are like a positive and negative charge, right? If you think about electricity, if you're lacking a positive or a negative, you're missing the electric power, right? So power is in the alignment of masculine and feminine energy. That's why it would say that male and female are complete when they're together in the bond of whatever, in their bond, their love bond, that they're complete because now they have a full set of energies. However, individuals on their own can be complete in and of themselves with full expression. Okay, so now you were born with a complete set of masculine and feminine energy potential, the seeds of which are existent. They were and they are. Now, in your experience, in your home, in your situation, in your response to drama and trauma, you exercised some of the masculine and some of the feminine. And a lot of, if men are raised by women, right? So like a guy who the dad isn't very present, and so a young man is raised by the mom, and maybe they have a bunch of sisters, they may develop more of their feminine energy traits because they're surrounded by women all the time. And so it just made sense. It flourished. And so that doesn't mean he's effeminate, or there's no judgment on it. It's just in that environment, the feminine energies flourished. And then if you get into a situation where, there's masculine energy is required, then all of a sudden you start developing those. So you already have all of them. You have developed some. Now, if I was to give you a list and say, look at the ones that are pronounced in your life on both sides, you'd get some. A lot of men might say, I've got more masculine than feminine. A lot of women might say I have more feminine than masculine, but it's not always the case, and that's fine. Now, here's the thing I want you to get next. Masculine and feminine energy have nothing to do with sexuality. We have a complete set, and the more we have, the better. And then I don't want you to think that it's some kind of a teeter-totter, that I'm either masculine or feminine or this or that. Nor, also, it's possible to have very little of both, right? Very little masculine and very little feminine. Now, it could be this way or that way. But this is the point I'm seeking to make. you have the freedom and the potential to fully unleash all of your masculine and all of your feminine energy right to the moon. To be completely masculine and completely feminine and not have it affect your relationships, because it's the capacity. Just because you're good with a hammer doesn't mean everything's a nail. I may be able to bring the heat, but I don't have to bring it all the time. I may be empathetic, but this might not be the time for empathy. I may be a team builder, but today's a solo mission. I may be able to, just because I have the capacity to fully experience and express all of my masculine and all of my feminine energy, that doesn't take away from me being appropriate for the moment. In fact, it's the only way to have the greatest potentiality of being appropriate for a moment. And I know that, some people are like, sometimes, and I've heard women say that, I do so much, I lead, I build my own business, I'm doing that, I'm the mom, and I'm the single mom sometimes, they'll say, and they're out there and they're working, they say, sometimes I just want someone else to be the boss, and just say, get in the car, I'm taking you out, just get ready and I'm taking care of everything. You don't have to be the boss today. And they're like, thank you. Everyone wants to fully experience and express masculine and feminine energy. Now, you may have been discouraged as a child. Oh, you're too feminine. You're too masculine. Little girls shouldn't. Little boys shouldn't. I want you to know, by the way, I got a heap and helping of this kind of stuff when I was a kid. My dad wanted me to be, right? But good news is, by the way, by the time his time on this earth was done, he had great respect for me and we had great peace. And in heaven, he's the proudest man alive, I'm sure. So all is well. But my journey was to discourage feminine energy and encourage masculine energy. But it wasn't a holistic perspective. How's that? So here's my strong encouragement. Know this, you can be fully masculine and fully feminine without it affecting your sexuality. It gives you the full capacity with maximum energies to be appropriate for any moment that you face. And being strong doesn't mean that you have to be weak somewhere else. You can be completely strong in both, completely empathetic and completely a strong leader, completely an attractor and an assertive. You can go for it and you can sit back and you can know how to dance back and forth. So I want you to know this. Masculine and feminine energy have nothing to do with your sexuality. Number 2, you have a full set all ready to be exercised. Number 3, being strong in one doesn't make you weak in the other. You can be completely masculine, completely feminine, and you don't have to rely on anything other than being appropriate for the moment. You can be as powerful, you can be as attractive, you can be organized, you can be as creative, you can be as empathetic and tough. A perfect mix, perfectly prepared for every moment. I encourage you with all of my heart. You want to be able to take your game to the next level? Billionaires don't burn out? Here's the secret. Number 1, they've learned mindfulness. The second, they've learned when it's time to attract and when it's time to take action. Can you take action when it's time? Can you intervene? Can you interject? Can you start a conversation? And can you attract a conversation? Do you know the power of silence? Do you know the power of a well-spoken word? It's a complete lexicon. And the good news is, you and I have that capacity. I encourage you with all of my heart. Allow yourself to be fully masculine. Allow yourself to be fully feminine. It has nothing to do with your sex, and it has nothing to do with being limited just because you've got a lot of this energy or that energy. Get all the energy, and then use them appropriately. Be present in mindfulness for the moment to master the moments that matter most. I hope, pray, and trust this has been encouraging for you. It's a huge, powerful, and important message that I hope the world hears. So if you're willing, please like, love, comment, and share. My favorite is comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you disagree with. I'm accustomed to people to disagree with me. I don't know why. I think I'm always right. But feel free to let me know your thoughts, and then we can all get better together. Love, joy, peace.